Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Natalie Lenore Blackman, welcoming you back from our long break that I had to take for a very large battle that I had to fight. And when I left, we were in the season of Earth, which is the late summer season. And I titled this Blessed Are the Peacemakers, because the earth element is considered the peacemaker element. Okay, that's our digestive tract, and we balance this element at the end of summer, which in the south is the worst season of the entire year, which is part of why I had to take a break. I always leave and go out west, and I have to reset my digestive system out there, or I promise I fall apart for the rest of the year. It's really bad. So this humidity that settles in August, it settles in the body as well. And if you have a lymphatic system that likes to move at a snail's pace, I'm not going to speak that out about myself, but then August is the time where your body just becomes super duper heavy and lethargic and doesn't want to move. So when I go out west and dry out, it's like makes me feel like a million times better. And as most of you know, I've been in a very, very large battle, fighting for my husband and his health. And sometimes that battle comes to an end, and we don't always know what it's going to look like. And but I will tell you this: I have learned a lifetime worth of lessons in the time that I have been off of this podcast or YouTube channel, whatever it's called. And God's been nudging at my heart to, get back on. And the way he kind of reminded me was like when you're on a horse. I grew up riding horses, and when you're on a horse and you fall off, you get the wind knocked out of you. But if you don't get back on right then fear sets in, and maybe doubt about your riding skills will set in, and maybe you won't look as forward to riding your horse the next time as you always normally do, So when you get bucked off, or you have a big fall and the wind gets knocked out of you, you have to get back on, right? You have to get back on. And so I'm getting back on, and I hope to share with you a lot of what I learned. Now, when I started this channel, it was in the spring, and the Father made it very clear about what day he wanted me to start the channel, and he told me it was for one person. It was probably me. And so, we never know, right? I mean, I love listening to Bill Johnson, because he talks about how it seems like sometimes God contradicts himself, because we'll oftentimes say what we think is for us is really for 30 other people, and it's not about us at all. Or when we think it's about other people, it's all about us. So we never know, right? I mean, I guess sometimes we do, but you practice obedience, because obedience to the Father's voice is the key to breakthrough. Whatever that breakthrough is, whatever that breakthrough looks like, or that you're believing for, it's only going to come through obedience. And obedience comes through submission. And submission is, I'm going to do things the Father's way and not my way. Like, I don't care what it looks like. I mean, people think I am nuts, and it doesn't bother me one single bit, because I know that I'm listening to my Father's voice. And when we spend this time in the secret place and we learn the Father and his heart, we learn what he sounds like, we learn what he is like, then our thoughts actually become his thoughts and our ways become his ways. The scripture says, your thoughts aren't my thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, because my ways are higher than yours. But he wasn't talking about when we stay in communion with him or when we stay in the secret place with him. When we do that, then they most certainly do become our thoughts. We start to think like the Father. We start to understand like the Father. Now, we're nowhere near him at all, right? He's God. He's sovereign. He's the creator of everything and of us ourselves. We are mere feeble humans, okay? But that understanding of him and his ways allows us to go through these huge battles in life. And when we go through the battle, he reminded me, we're supposed to be like a racehorse. And so you have blinders on and you don't look this way, you don't look that way, you don't listen to this voice, you don't listen to that voice. Like, you're staying in alignment or synchrony with the Father. And that's why this work is so crucial. This is why it's so important that we learn to be in the secret place, that we learn to figure out what is in our soul, what is in our soil, and are we receiving what we're supposed to be receiving? Are we hearing what we're supposed to hear? And as a veterinarian, one thing the Father has taught me is that I diagnose, right? I mean, that's what I do. And not only do I diagnose, but because I'm a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, I get to the root of a problem. And I have watched my whole life, my 45 years, I have watched people that say they love God and they believe in Jesus and they're living for him. And I have watched them look exactly like everybody else in the world. There is no delineation between them and someone else. They could sit in front of the Word and watch it and listen to it and read it and not be changed. And I'm not okay with that. That is not okay with me. We've talked about cycles of disease, right? Like, I don't let patients continue to come into my office with the same problem happening over and over and over every year. Now, we may have some patients that we work a year or two on getting well because they were so sick when they came to us. But I'm not going to have a patient that gets pancreatitis every July because we didn't take care of the fire element entering into the earth element. I'm not okay with that. Maybe one July or maybe two, but we've got to get to the root of that. And so that's why I started this channel. This channel is to help each of us figure out what it is in our life that God has put inside of us. Like, what is our purpose? Are we fulfilling it? Are we being fruitful? Are we seeing a harvest? Are we operating in the frequencies of heaven? Or are we operating in the frequencies of hell? We shouldn't respond to the traumas, the battles, the difficulties in life the way that everybody else does. Okay? We are connected. Our Father is the creator of heaven and earth. And if you know that, and your life looks mundane, then there is something missing. There's something in your soil that's inhibiting the blessings from coming forth. There's something that is preventing you from being able to walk in generational blessings. Maybe you're walking in generational curses instead. So this channel is for that. It's for us figuring out like how we're going to handle the trauma, the difficulties, the battles, the sickness, the disease. Those things are going to come. We live in a fallen world. To be deceived and think that we're not going to walk through fire is self-deception. Okay? We don't want to walk through fire. We want to create the blessing everywhere we go. We want the fruits of the Spirit to pour out of us. But until we uproot everything, we're going to face battles. But we got to know how to face them. We got to be ready to face them. We got to know who we're fighting against. We got to know who is on our side. We got to know whose voice to listen to and who's not to listen to. That's going to be key. And the way we learn those things is not in the battle. Okay? You learn them before the battle. One of my favorite quotes growing up used to be, it's not when you're going to fail, but how you're going to handle your failure that counts. What? And I remember thinking, like, my 10-year-old self, I was a performance-oriented child. I didn't fail at anything. I was straight A+ kid. And I remember when I read that for the first time, I was just like, who fails? Why would someone fail? And two, because my dad had me, I would say, these confessions every morning, and if God is for me, who can be against me? And, who fails in life? Why would you ever say that? But it ended up being a amazingly important foundational quote in my life, because I had to accept that being human meant we're going to fail. We're going to have failures. Things are going to turn out different than how we expected them, than how we thought that they would look. But it doesn't mean we lost. No. I've always said too, after learning that quote, that there is no failure if you learn from it, right? Some people say the definition of insanity is repeating the same mistakes but expecting different results, right? So that'd be the opposite of learning from failure. So failures aren't horrible, even from a person who has dealt with performance orientation most of their life. You begin to understand that you grow and that you learn and you're pushed. You're like in this last battle, the whole time I said I was boxed in, like perplexed from every side, like the scripture says. You're just, there's nowhere else for you to go but up. So you look up. Where did my help come from? I looked up and it came from the Lord. Mine eyes has seen the Father. And the most times that we are going to see and experience the Father is in the dark places, in the places where we think that maybe either we failed or the situation didn't turn out the way we looked. But when we get the wind knocked out of us, we get back up. And we get back up and we just say, all right, show me what's next. Okay? Show me how I take this next day. Show me how I move in this next season. Because your mercies are new every morning. When I used to ride my horse, people thought I was insane because I practiced falling off my horse. Like, I had a very, very fast barrel racing horse. And so I loved to get her running at full speed and then fall off, because I didn't want to be afraid of the fall. I wanted to learn how to fall or fail well, right? And so it became a practice of, I can do this. Like, I can, oh my gosh, I don't have to be in fear that I'm going to fall. I'm going to practice falling. So when it happens and I'm caught off guard, I'm ready for it. If that makes any sense. But that's what the secret place is. That's what God is trying to show us. Like, there's things that are going to come, and we're going to hope that we're ready for them, or we think that we're ready for them, because God prepares us for battles. I mean, he gets our heart ready, and he's, if you walk with him closely, or you operate in the prophetic, right? I mean, one way that I know is when he sends me rest. Okay, like, I'm like, oh, it's like the calm before the storm. I'm like, everything seems to be going so smoothly in my life right now. I'm rested. Maybe I'm caught up on my work at the office. Maybe I have a little time with Hannah. I'm getting extra time to spend in the Word and to spend with my Father. And when that becomes like a little bit of a pattern, I'm always like, oh, all right, you're preparing me. You know, sir, how much I enjoy my rest. And you know how much, sir, that I like to be prepared. God knows your personality. So whatever that personality is, he will begin to work with you in that personality. He's not trying to shift you out of it. But if you're a person that likes to be prepared, like myself, prepared for anything, just get me prepared, you'll start to learn the way that he's preparing you. And you're like, okay, well, the battle's coming. I don't know what it is, but God's preparing me. And if he's gonna allow me to walk through this battle, then he's gonna equip me to walk through it. He's going to hold my hand through it. He's not going to leave my side. He's going to give me what I need. He's going to give me the words that I need, the instruction that I need, the people that I need. Oh, God, he blessed me with people during this last battle. So many wonderful friends to hold me up and walk alongside me. And God will do that, right? He will do that. But if we don't know his heart, and if we don't know his voice, when the battle comes, it is going to be disastrous. I'm just going to prepare you. And this battle was hard, but it wasn't disastrous. I was prepared the best way that I think that I could have been. And that's all I ever ask of the Father, is just make sure I'm prepared. I want to be prepared. And I like surprises, good surprises, but I don't like bad surprises. Okay? And so the Father begins to learn your personality, and he wants to work with you, and he wants to co-op with you. He wants to partner with you. He wants to help you do what he's called you to do. Okay? And it's not going to look like the way we always think it will. But if you have your trust in him, if you know that he has your best interest at heart, if you know that he has plans to give you a hope and a future, if you know that his mercies are new every morning, and if you know in your knower and in your heart that perfect love casteth out fear, because fear has torment, then there's no battle you can face. But the majority of people that I've seen in this world, and I'm going to say 98% the people that I've met in my lifetime, have so much in their soil that getting to those places could take a lifetime. And so that's why I believe the Father asked me to start this channel, was so we could start uprooting, digging, getting it out, and then planting, letting Him plant what He wants in us, letting Him grow a beautiful garden in our heart. We're not responsible for it. We're just responsible to show up, right? And do the work with Him. But He is the gentle gardener, and He will just work in our soil and prepare us. And so I'm going to try to get back on track. I'm asking Him to redeem the time and let me make up for all the sessions that I missed. I really want to catch up on Peacemakers, because it was one of my primary elements. That's why I got into traditional Chinese medicine, was because of my digestive element was a wreck. And so I'm hoping to be able to do a series, and then we will be moving into the fall element, which is the lungs, and we will be talking about grief. So perfect timing, right? And so I hope this blessed you, and if it did, I hope you'll hit the like button and share with someone, and I will plan on talking to you soon.